do a little screen today. I'm going to show you how to do some repairs on the screen. I got to build one, and I got to rescreen two. No big deal. I'll show you how to do this. You got this is just it's a repair because the screen was tore up. These are pretty simple to do. You have your little cord that's in there. You just peel your little cord out. It goes all the way around, and then you lay your screen out. Lay your screen out here. I try to keep it level, that way, you know, I'm not cutting it all wacky jacked. So anyways, I usually overlap it by half an inch or so. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to eliminate a lot of scrap. And then I just cut off the access. And then you want to take your cord and put back down in this groove. But the easiest way to do it, hold on. The easiest way to do it is, once you get it laid out, you'll see that your roller, this is just a screen roller. You can get this at Lowe's, whatever. One end of it is rounded off. The other end is concave. It's got a groove in it. See that groove? So your rolled over one, you want to run in the groove. Is what this is doing. It's just pushing the material down. And then you'll take your screen rod, screen rope, and just stick it in the beginning and just get it started. And then you take your concave side and you sit it in there and just real lightly roll it down through there. Not a big deal. Just real lightly roll it and then come back. Now you want to be real careful about not getting on this side of the screen because you'll cut it. And then you just want to make sure that you're getting the roller down in there. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you get the general idea. Make sure the access is not in your way. You know what I'm saying? And then all you got to do on the corner is just bend it around and push it down. That's all you got to do. Sometimes you can take a screwdriver and push that down just to get yourself started. And you just keep going all the way around. You don't want to pull on the screen real hard, but if you notice that the screen is wobbly, you'll kind of want to give it a little pull, but not anything real hard, because you'll cause the screen rail to get bowed in. If you got a really big screen and you're pulling on the screen material and you're pushing that roller down in there, you'll actually bow, and you'll end up getting the rail would actually be bent. It'll look funny. So 101 on how to rescreen. But once you get all of it cut off, you'll want to go around. You want to go around and put a blade. You want to run a blade right on this rim so that you'll be able to cut the access off. It's one of those patient things. You just got to take your time. It's no big hurry. But the next one I'm going to show you how to redo a screen that's busted. I'll show you. Now that I've got it all the way around, I'm on the last part. I'm checking the tension on the screen, make sure it's not too tight. It's great, because you can see as you're rolling, you won't be able to see it, but if you're doing this, you can see it. You'll actually watch the screen to climb, because as you're pushing that down in there, it's pulling the screen, because you got to go down in that groove. So that's the reason why you don't want to make the screen real tight, because you'll end up, the screen will be really super tight. Just going to take your time, roll it back, just like so. And then all you got to do is just take your knife. It doesn't matter where you start at. Just kind of cut right there in that groove to get your access off. When we get to the corner, just kind of roll it. Cut the excess off. Just go real slow, or be careful, because if you go too fast, you'll end up whacking it. It'll slip and cut your screen. You have to start all over. Sure is a nice day out today. Beautiful day. I gotta start on the shingles tomorrow. I gotta go get the lift, pick it up, come back. We gotta re-shingle the front of the building. Woohoo! Whole lot of fun. Just back to the beginning. If you see it kind of bulged up like that, take your blade and push it back down in there. Because it'll do that sometimes. It'll kind of, if you don't push it down hard enough. Woohoo! And that's one screen redone. See what I'm saying? See how the screen is kind of wobbly? If you pull that screen too tight, it will hold that screen at a wobbly. But I'm not too worried about it because it's a small screen. It'll pop right back in the window. No problem. Here's the other one. You can see how the tenants beat the crap out of this one. See how it's all busted up, bent up. So I got to replace this rail. I don't know if I've got the right size, but we'll go see real quick. Okay, so when you got a rail that's busted, bent up like that, you've got to replace it with a new rail. So the problem with the new rails is you got to make sure that your new rail is the same size, the thickness was. So let's go ahead and pull the rod out, or rope, whatever you want to call it. Pull this out. Now these screens, these are elbows. My other stuff are in, I think they're outside. We'll find out. Because there's two different styles. There's a corner, there's a 45er, and then there's a flat ones like this. So what you want to do is you want to take it, set it side by side, and make sure it's the same size rail, which we got lucky. This one looks about right. The only problem I see is maybe the rope track might be a little smaller, but we're going to work with what we got here. And what we'll do is, because that side's not damaged, I'm going to measure that, cut this, and then reinstall it on this side. It should be fine. Just because it's tore right here, we'll have to rescreen the whole thing. So we'll go from there. You can cut this however you want. I measured the length from this corner to that corner, this side. You can see where it stops. It's 52. Now you can cut that however you want. Hacksaw, sawzall, but you're going to have to clean it up real good. So what I like to do, I like my little guy here. It's the shit, man. Just put it on there. Make sure you're cutting on the right side of your mark. It's kind of hard to camera this one. Because this is aluminum and it's hot, I like using that because I get nice clean cuts. I got that installed. That's not a problem. I tore off all the screens. This rail here was slightly bent, and I was able to set it down there and tap on it with a hammer and straighten it back out. It had a bow in it right here. And then because I bent the rail, what I did was I took the roller side, put it in there, was able to open that gap back up. So anytime you got a gap, man, you can always bend it back out with it. Cool. Let's get to screening. Okay, so ran into a slight problem. Even though the two rails are the same size, the rope line is just a tiny bit too big. So what's wrong is that the cord won't stay in there. Even though I've just rescreened it, it just wants to pull itself back out. So because I need to do this today, not next month, what I'm going to do is take my hammer and just real lightly tap it. Because this is aluminum. I'm just going to tap it all the way down through there. And what that'll do is that'll cause that bead or that rope to be a little tight. Just a little love taps. All the way down through here. Okay. So by tapping it a little bit, that's going to cause my cord to be tighter getting in there. You know? And that will work perfectly. Because I don't have time to wait around on new What it is you can actually get a thicker twine or rope. But I'm not going to worry about that today. This is just a quick fix to get this done. Cool beans? Do is, even though I beat that down, I still got this small area right here that the rail or the twine's still trying to come out. So what I'll do is take a pair of pliers on there and just, because it's already down in there as far as I can get it, and just barely mash it. And what that's doing is that's pinching it pretty good. See how I'm doing that? And that'll help to keep it down in the track. See what I mean? It's just barely mashing it. See, just barely. And what that's doing is that closing that gap a little bit. Yeah, I hate doing repairs on some of this, man. It can be a real pain. But like I said, 90% of this work, guys, this is all, man, you've got to work with what you've got, man. You know, some complexes, man, you got all the parts you ever need. Some complexes like mine, you don't got anything. I mean, I do have some stuff. But the problem I got now is, now that I've realized that cord is a little too small for the new rail, I'm gonna have to go over there to the shed, and hopefully I have some fatter cord to go down in there, because I've got to build a whole screen, you know. We'll find out. I'll fastener these corners here. You got to cut your corners in 45s, and then you just push them together. That's a really super strong fitting right there. It just makes it a little bit more complicated because now it's not a blunt edge. Now I've got to calculate for all the way to the corner. Not a big deal, but just so you, I mean, this is a much tighter. Once you put the ribbon in there, it'll be a lot tighter. Let's see. Once you get your, I kind of like the 45ers better. It's easier to measure each overall length. So once you get all your side pieces cut and then your end pieces cut at 45s, you just put the little finger in there and slide it together. I always like to take and kind of clean that up a little bit, because it is kind of sharp, you know. So I did find another cord in the shop that's quite a bit bigger, but at least it'll fit in there and won't come out. So all we had to do is rescreen this bad boy.